we've still not slipped below that 6150 level that the market, that traders were talking about. But remember, 6180 was the critical support zone for the day. So we've breached that on the downside. So let's find out whether we can expect some more correction. Jay Bala of CashTheChaos.com joins in this morning to talk about that. Bala, hi, thanks so much for joining in on the show this morning. What's your call now, because our markets have seen a little bit of nervousness in the past couple of trading sessions. Is this a routine correction that one sees when the markets reach such skyrocketing levels, or would you be concerned about what's happening globally?
Good afternoon, Sonia. Thanks for having me. The markets are actually at a unique situation. See, the charts as they are placed at this point in time are actually an eye candy for the bears. To understand why I'm saying this, you have to first look at the dollar index. Now, if you look at the correlation for equity markets with the dollar index, at this point, several emerging markets, there's a correlation of negative 0.91 to 0.95. If you take the NSE Nifty, the correlation is about 0.94. So this is a very tight inverse correlation. And if you pull up the charts of the dollar index, you can see the dollar index has probably bottomed for the intermediate term, and I'm expecting a very sharp rally for the dollar index. So that existing a very high inverse correlation, you should expect a good correction coming into equity markets across emerging markets, including the Nifty.
Okay. Meanwhile, you have a CNBC TV18 exclusive flashing on your screens. Templeton says that it has sold off its chunk of Taro shares to Sun Pharma. However, they're not willing to reveal the price at which the deal is being done. But nevertheless, a confirmation coming from Templeton that the Sun Pharma has bought Taro shares from them. But we have Jay Bala with us. Bala, what about the support levels then? What kind of levels would you be watching on the downside? Somewhere the Nifty can find support.
See, I'm looking at possibly the 6,000 to 5,900 area as a possible support, and that could be a substantial bit of correction. But don't be surprised if this correction continues well beyond that. And I would say that the markets are quite safe. The uptrend is not under risk, even if Nifty falls up to 5,700. But I'm not saying that markets are going to get to that level. But as long as markets stay above 5,700 for the intermediate to long term, we don't have to worry about the markets reversing the trend. The trend will be still in place.
So from the blue chip gamut, Bala, if the markets do go from the 6150 level to the levels that you were talking about, maybe 5,900 to 6,000, what are the stocks that you would be most concerned about that would give in the selling pressure?
At this point, I'm very concerned about the metals sector. Obviously, metals are commodity-related plays. Obviously, when the dollar index is strengthening, obviously the commodity-related plays will be severely hit. And if you look at the BSE metals index, there is a possibility that the BSE metals index might have clocked a lower high. And if it closes below 16,600, I think the trend reversal for the metal sector is in place. So I'm concerned about the metal sector. And the second one is the IT sector. If you watch the BSE tech index, there's also a possibility it might have clocked a lower high, and if it closes below 5,900, if I'm right, because I don't have the charts in front of me, if it closes below 5,900, I think there's a possibility of a trend reversal. You might say a strengthening dollar might actually be beneficial for tech sector, but if you actually look at the correlation for the CNX IT index with the dollar index, there's again a very high inverse correlation of 0.95 for the IT sector. So actually a stronger dollar could be bad for the IT sector in the intermediate term.
Any thoughts on what one could look at buying on dips, something where the charts were looking strong but would go down along with the markets? Anything you would recommend buying at lower levels?
At the moment, I'll stand back, but I'll be watchful. If I can buy the dips in the auto sector and probably one or two stocks in the utility sector, like something like a Tata Power or Reliance Infra. But autos, I think it will be a corrective move. So autos and utilities, I'm a bit positive. And if the trend remains intact, I will look to buy the dip over there.
Thanks so much, Bala, for joining us on the show with your thoughts.